A few days ago I was watching one of my friends play Metaphor when I realized he's skipping almost all the dialogues. I was confused because personally I want to stay in the loop on the story. Who these characters are, why is this guy Neon Genesising, what is that talking spaceship and whatnot. And a turn-based game is not something you would play mainly for gameplay, so I asked him about it. Wanted to know if he's really not invested in the story at all. He told me that he was at first, in the prologue, but then so much endless dialogues appeared that he just got bored and started to skip a few of them. After a while he lost the thread of the story and gave up on trying. That's when I realized the duality of form in video games causes this problem. Games need to have a very delicate narrative flow because of the existence of something called gameplay. If we accept video games as a form of art, then they're the only art to have two elements actively sabotaging each other. Gameplay and storytelling are sworn enemies. Because of gameplay, our minds can never focus on the stream of dialogues for the long haul and want to jump back to the action as soon as possible. Make no mistake, on the surface level, gameplay is the only thing that should matter in a game. But if these two don't coexist together, it's a field day for the YouTubers who explain game stories. We all have that one person in our lives who's always blabbering about something. We wish they would shut up for a second. If you don't know that person, you are that person. I know because I'm one. And let me tell you, we hate ourselves about it more than you do, but we can't help it. The stream of words in our brain is constant and never ending. That's what happens with some of these games too. There's just too much to talk about that would be a shame to sleep on, mostly because the writers of the said game wrote the game in a book format or a movie format. Writing for a game is way different than any other type of writing. It needs to connect with the gameplay, and it needs to be in an iceberg format. This is what I'm trying to tell you in this game. Want more than this? Then follow these clues to the rabbit hole. You're not interested? Just beat this cool boss I designed for you then. So I decided to make a chart on how talkative a game is. This is how it looks, and I separated them into 4 groups. This left section is called radio silent. Games with absolutely zero dialogues where the story is told only through gameplay and visual and graphical cues. Next one is called I'm a little shy. Less than 20 lines are uttered in the entire game, and those lines are so vague that you'd rather not to hear them at all. These 2 sections are what we're gonna talk about, but let's first take a brief look into the others as well. This one is called the center, because it's half literal storytelling, half visual cues, and it's also my personal favorite between them all. And the last one is Mouthpiece. Games with long cutscenes, lots of dialogue boxes, big chunks of text, things like that. I only put these games here, but this section basically includes 90% of the games we know. Reasonable to say, none of these sections are superior to the other. It's like saying third-person games are better than first-person. As you can see, there are examples of good and bad games in each section of the chart. Tell me in the comment section if you can think of more of these games and the group they belong to. But as I said earlier, we only talk about these 2 today. First question to ask. If people can't stand the written ripe for the picking dialogues, how would they follow or take interest in a non-verbal narrative? That's when the devs will use curiosity to their advantage by putting visual clues. Bam! Something weird or shocking happens that will intrigue your attention. Something to activate your detective mode and force you to look for evidence to better understand what just happened. Like in Rainboard, the game starts at the most relaxing state possible. You're wandering around in the absolute calm, clueless of what is waiting for you, until your time's up and the rain starts to fall. The unanticipated scenario of rain being the cause of death makes you want to know so much more about this world, and the more you want that information, the more it's deprived from you and vice versa. So, now that the audience is interested, how to tell them the story? Basically in these games, storytelling isn't absolute. It mostly revolves around good guesses and smart clues, or as I call it, quantum narratives. Then comes the transference part. We have to hide pieces of information in somewhat visible locations of the game. It can be anything, even the gameplay. Like how Zero can alter the time in Katana Zero, and the whole plot revolves around that time alteration. But it's usually a visual element sitting in the background, something you might take for nothing. For instance, in the game Inside, we know that the Hive Mind's Great Escape was staged. How do we know that? There was no real escape in the first place. We didn't break the loop, we completed it. Also, this isn't sunlight, it's a spotlight. Or if we want to be a little sneakier than this, we put a 4th demolished throne next to the Mantis Lords. Then we add another boss fight called Traitor Lord for you to connect the dots, and guess what has happened here? Now you might ask, isn't this too much? Sure, it's annoying to have too much dialogues, but no need to overcorrect it. Well, you're completely right. Making and understanding radio silent games are quite the hassle, but there's a point to it. Two of them actually, and completely irrelevant ones. Either the devs' focus is mostly on the gameplay, as that's their shining star, like Dead Cells and Hotline Miami, or the game has a mystery-driven narrative, like Little Nightmares and Limbo. It's supposed to be foggy and incomprehensible for the naked eye, so they just won't give you anything. You have to take it, you have to earn it. Then again, what if all of these doesn't work? What if the audience had zero ideas what the game was about, even when the credits roll? Well, that's okay. That's how it is in the real world. Not every bit of information should be pushed into your face. You might take interest in something or someone in your life without ever getting to know their stories. Only time will tell if you stay long enough to probe into that story or not. And I believe that's perfect balance. Just like all the natural phenomena in the world, you reach the treasure chest after fighting the dragon, not in the middle of it. I think that's enough. I wanted to talk about how each of these games use this silence in their advantage, but I don't want to make this video too long. So if you were interested, tell me in the comments and maybe I'll make a second part. If you enjoyed, I appreciate any form of support, even as small as hitting the like button and subscribe. Thank you, and as always, don't shoot dare, go hollow.